you're gonna have to get with that. We are doing this thing this afternoon as soon as we get on PI.
So you're just gonna make a run for it in the middle of the day?
You gotta do what you gotta do, huh, baby?
You're gonna screw this whole thing up.
That's not for you to decide anymore.
Michael entered the sewer, removed the buttons from his clothes, and threw them into a nearby drain. He listened to the sound of the buttons hitting the ground, and based on the echo, calculated that the bottom of the reservoir was only about a meter from the slope opening. He slid down from there. Michael looked up at the manhole cover 5-6 meters above him, then glanced at the smooth walls around him. It was impossible to climb up from here, but this was the only escape route. He had to find a solution. Michael noticed the drainage outlet at the bottom. He took out a plastic bag, placed his clothes inside, and tied the bag securely with a rope. Then, he used the plastic bag to block the drainage outlet. Michael turned the water valve to fill the reservoir. He planned to use the water's buoyancy to lift himself up. However, after turning the valve, not a single drop of water came out. The main valve outside must have been shut off. The next day, during a group work session, Michael used a tool to pry open the pipeline valve. A large amount of water rushed in. Michael set the drainage time to 3 minutes and 17 seconds. The water in the reservoir began to rise gradually. Before the water finished filling, a guard approached. Cooper immediately coughed to alert Michael. The guard blew his whistle, ordering the prisoners to assemble and return to their cells. As the countdown reached 0, Michael quickly closed the valve. At this point, the water level was only half a meter from the manhole cover. Back in his cell, Michael went to the drainage pipe opening. He climbed into the water-filled reservoir, grabbed one end of the rope, and successfully swam to the surface using the water's buoyancy. Michael pushed open the manhole cover and entered the pharmacy beneath the infirmary. Michael tightened the rope and pulled hard, reopening the drainage outlet at the bottom of the reservoir. The water level dropped rapidly. Then, he tied the rope to the manhole cover. The escape route was now fully open. After everything was ready, Michael followed the drainage pipe to the break room. The others in the break room had just broken through the pipe. But at that moment, Lincoln, who was keeping watch at the door, saw guards approaching. He quickly alerted everyone. At this time, Michael had not yet surfaced. They couldn't let the guards notice someone was missing. To buy time, Lincoln deliberately provoked the guards. Other guards, hearing the commotion, rushed over and restrained Lincoln. After Michael was pulled out by his cellmates, he said happily, "We did it," but no one else was happy, because Lincoln had been taken to solitary confinement. Tomorrow was the day of his execution. Meanwhile, Teabag slit John's throat. John was airlifted out of the prison for emergency treatment. Teabag pretended as if nothing had happened. A major problem arose. After escaping, they relied on John's plane to leave the country. Without John's arrangements, even if they managed to escape, they wouldn't get far. The escape was on the verge of success, but this sudden turn of events left Michael clutching his head in despair. He had risked everything to save his brother. If he couldn't save Lincoln, what was the point of everything he had done?